welcome back to another episode of Two for Two, your sports podcast for the culture, by the voice of the culture. I'm your host, Quis, and I'm here with my co-host, Nell, as always. And we got a Super Bowl preview for you guys, man. The day is finally here. If you remember, we started off this thing with our NFL previews, and we're getting right into the Super Bowl now. Seems like forever ago, that we did that, but here we are. We got season 3, episode 27. So sit back and enjoy. Nell, my brother, how you doing today, man?
Doing good, man. How you feeling?
Hey, we're almost done with the NFL season. It
Thank
feels weird.
God.
It feels weird, having that week off in between. I actually almost forgot about the Super Bowl. Um, but I'm here. My Buccaneers, they hired an offensive coordinator. Our offensive coordinator, since we've been on here, the Buccaneers offensive coordinator has left to go to the Carolina Panthers as the head coach. Nell lost the coordinator as well, and Dan Quinn moving on over to the Commanders, right? And he took a couple
Yeah,
people with.
Op City.
Yeah,
Dang.
so it looks like both of us now, you got a new well, it's ironic. Both of these teams have been rivals, I guess, for our teams, right? The Panthers and the Bucks have their little thing. Cowboys and the Commanders go back to the Redskins, that whole deal. And both coordinators didn't just leave quietly, right? You lost a couple of your position coaches to go with Dan. We lost some position coaches, so that's all we got on our front, right? But it's Super Bowl time, right? It's Super Bowl, and we're gonna get right into it. We got the 11-6 Kansas City Chiefs versus the 12-5 San Francisco 49ers. Now, looking back at our predictions, neither of us had this being the game. But when you think about it, it made the
I ain't
most
gonna
sense.
lie, like it's not gonna sound like the truth, but like I wanted to pick this to be my prediction
No, I mean, I
when we
understand. I
when
mean,
we did
right,
it, but I was just like, I wanted to spice it up.
exactly. And
So I,
it's
I,
that's
I didn't
exactly
feel like picking a Super Bowl rematch,
right.
but
It just felt like a chalk kind of like,
yeah.
the two best teams that we would think, right?
I
And
mean,
that's
I
what I
did
was.
have the 49ers, but I just tried to be different. I just tried to be different with the
You did.
Chiefs.
I think we
But
both were trying to get away from, the Pat Mahomes just for the sake of it. Um, you know, but hey, we're here, and the good thing is it's a good game, right? It's two juggernauts, right? The best team in the NFC all season versus the best quarterback in the NFL. We talked about the Kansas City Chiefs. Seem like they load managed a little bit, right? It seemed like they load managed a little bit, but they found a way to get here. They found a way to win enough games. And let's see how the Chiefs got there. They beat the Miami Dolphins at home. They went on the road to beat the Bills. They went on the road to beat the Baltimore Ravens to get to this point. The San Francisco 49ers, on the other hand, they had a first round bye, and they got 2 wins over Green Bay and the Detroit Lions, two NFC North teams. Won both games by 3 points. That's not me saying anything, but that's how they got here. So we're gonna break down a couple things for y'all today, man. We're gonna look at the quarterback battle. We're gonna look at what keys we have for both sides winning the game, and we got some X factors, what we're looking forward to the most, and then we'll get into our predictions, man. So stick around and enjoy it. We're gonna have a good one now. So we're gonna get right to the QB battle, man. We got the Grim Reaper, Pat Mahomes, generational talent, best quarterback in the NFL, right? Versus Mr. Irrelevant, the guy that we didn't expect to see at this point, the system quarterback, right? The guy that we hated on for a little bit, gave him his props, and we were like, oh, what happened? We said, can he win games without, that system around him, without those weapons around him? But look, Brock Purdy found a way, and he did prove his worth in that final game against the Detroit Lions. But here we are at the point. It's the biggest game of the season now. What would a Super Bowl win do for Brock Purdy? Would that put the system quarterback debate officially to rest? Or would it just mean, hey, if you got a good system and a decent quarterback, you can win?
yeah, I agree with the second part you said. Like if you got a pretty good quarterback and you got a great system and you got all pros around you, anything's possible. Even if he does go out and win the Super Bowl, I think there's still, he should get a lot of praise, especially the run in the second halves of these games that he's been having to make with these throws. So I mean, he should get a ton of credit, if they do come out with a win, depending on how he plays. But even if he does win, I think there's still going to be a bit of question marks around him, like can he do it if he had a supporting cast like a Mahomes this year, where you can't really rely on a bunch of number one receivers. So I think he's still going to have those questions. Like we've seen Nick Foles win a Super Bowl. No one all of a sudden threw him into the elite conversations, except for Eagles fans. We seen Joe Flacco win a Super Bowl. Nobody really threw him into elite conversations, even with winning that, because we knew Baltimore, what they had defensively. So, I think there'll still be some question marks, but, I feel like even through just getting this team to the Super Bowl this year, he's proved a lot of doubters wrong.
Yeah, and I think what we have here is a very interesting, I guess, an interesting game that will kind of bring up some questions in terms of drafting players, right? In terms of the psyche of front offices, right? You got one guy that, I mean, granted, Pat Mahomes wasn't exactly Pat Mahomes, right? Coming out of Texas Tech, everybody didn't exactly see or foresee him becoming who he is today. He had the arm talent. They knew that, but there were a lot of question marks, and look at him now. But you also have a guy, like you said, with Brock Purdy. He's a system guy. You have a great coaching staff. You have playmakers around you. Can the guy just make the throws? And so what I'm interested in seeing is how, you know, uh, front offices and other teams around the league kind of adjust when they look at building a team, right? There aren't many Pat Mahomeses, but as you look, we have a draft coming up soon where you got Caleb Williams, right? That's the talk of the town. Is he the guy that they're saying is better than Pat Mahomes, right? The guy that they're saying is just as good or whatever coming out of college, and then you have other quarterbacks on the back end. How do teams build their roster? Would you rather go get the big fish and squander the rest of your roster, or do you just continue to build a really, really, really good roster and then boom, you get a guy that can fit it, and then next you succeed. So that's something I'm curious in seeing. I think I'm right with you in terms of what it does for Brock Purdy. I think it just kind of solidifies that he's a starter. That he's a legitimate starter in this league. You named a couple of quarterbacks that won some Super Bowls without being that great, right? But those are all guys that played in the NFL for a good period of time. Situation is something that matters. I don't think Brock Purdy's a bad quarterback by any stretch. I think he's shown that if nothing else, he's very comfortable in that system, and because of that, he's able to, I think, play higher than what maybe his potential was originally when they got him drafted, right? Like you're not expecting, your last pick in the draft to lead you to a Super Bowl, but when you build like they did, credit to John Lynch and the front office over in San Francisco, where you get some guys and you hit on Brandon Ayuk, you hit on a Deebo Samuel, you got George Kittle to be healthy, you got a Trent Williams, you got Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in football, you got a Fred Warner on the other end. You got Nick Bosa. You make a trade for Chase Young. When you do stuff like that, this is the result of it, right? You have those games where we look when those guys weren't around, how Brock Purdy looked, but then you see how he looks when they are around. I think if nothing else, that team around him boosts his confidence level and it makes him play to another level, and you can't knock him for that. So I think when him winning the Super Bowl would take him to the next level. I don't think he's going to go earn some massive contract. I don't even think he would really. I don't want to say he won't pursue one because, get your money. But, I don't think the 49ers are going to break the bank because he wins him a Super Bowl, because you have to take into account how this game is going to be played, what he's asked to do. That's my thing with Brock Purdy, right? I don't want to crown him king, but I also don't want to take anything away from him. I don't think he's so much of a system quarterback, but instead, he's just a guy that can make the throws, and you've seen that he can process things in the right situation. Uh, so I don't know, if you have any other things in terms of that, but I
Nah,
look at the other. No, go ahead.
yeah, you hit it right on the nail. About Purdy.
Yeah,
Jury's still out on him, and
yeah,
it's only his second year, so they still got a couple more years to see how they really feel about him, if he's really a guy that can be your starter for 10, 15 years. And he's certainly especially if he, even if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, he leads them to a couple more NFC Championship appearances. He's gonna command a pretty hefty contract. So
right.
we'll see what comes when we get there.
And I think, with him, kind of what you said is made me think about it is, if he does, even if he doesn't win this Super Bowl, right? That John Lynch and those guys are not going to go back to the drawing board and say we need to get a new quarterback in here, right? I think if nothing else, he's answered all the questions that, like, look, just keep bringing me better guys, or just keep getting everybody that you can get and bring them over here, and eventually we'll get this thing figured out. And if not, say you go 2 more years with NFC Conference Championship wins, they get the Super Bowl and lose. Now you have a different question, like, okay, who's really to blame here? But on the other side, we got Pat Mahomes, a guy that's won a Super Bowl before, a guy that, no question, the most talented quarterback in the league. You talked about how this year he doesn't really have a ton of different talent around him, right? Rashee Rice has come on as of late. Isaiah Pacheco is a good running back, runs hard, plays well. Another guy that was a sixth round pick, I think. But that's not, when you look at Christian McCaffrey and you look at Isaiah Pacheco, are you're going position by position here, or you're going to lean with McCaffrey, right? But you got Travis Kelce, who's playing out of his mind. But that's about what we expect from Travis Kelce, right? That's what we thought we were going to get from him all year. But that's not Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Christian McCaffrey, right? That's not them. That's not Trent Williams blocking the blind side of Pat Mahomes. Is Donovan Smith, who I cannot stand, right? It's just, like it's just not. So with that, especially considering the implications of the Super Bowl, maybe a Super Bowl win for Pat Mahomes, how much closer does that get him to Tom Brady?
Whew. I don't know, man. Tom already beat him twice. Like, he probably he might go down. He gets a couple more. He might. I feel like people are gonna definitely put him in that convo, but I feel like we can always go back and look at it. Like, yeah, we saw them head to head twice,
Tom
and,
Brady.
and
Yeah.
Tom got both of them things. So we'll see. I mean, look, he's been to 6 AFC championships in 6 years. Was this his third Super Bowl or fourth? However many, like,
Bucks, the two they got. So this is fourth. Oh wait, they got one. Do they have one or two?
they got two.
So this is fourth one then.
Either way, like, dude, he's gonna be there. Like, it's the AFC is becoming the Patrick Mahomes Invitational, so he's gonna have his chances to maybe get 7, but that's just a really hard thing to do, and who knows if hopefully he's healthy enough to make that kind of run, but just can't foresee the future. But if he gets 5 or 6, I think I feel like he's probably cemented himself as number 2 all time. But 5 or 6, then we'll start having real GOAT conversations.
He's gonna have to get to 7 and probably exceed 7, because it's kind of like that. It's kind of what we all wish we had in that Jordan LeBron debate with the who's better. These guys actually played, and it was into the downswing of Tom's career, right? Granted, and those were better teams for Pat Mahomes at that time. So I think it'll be hard for you to really just put the guy strictly, like, just straight up put him over him if he doesn't have any wins over him in terms of winning a Super Bowl. He doesn't have any, and if he doesn't have at least the same amount of rings, you can't even really argue that one, right? And on top of the fact that we're talking about like how he's a generational talent that didn't have a lot of weapons at the different skill positions. I mean, we saw how Tom Brady used to do with less, right? So if nothing else, like it creates more of a parallel, right? You can kind of start putting them up against each other all you want, but it at the end of the day, I think it's hard to really pass Tom Brady without getting. I think you had to get like 10, like you had to win 10. Like that's and
10
that
is
that
crazy. 8
and that's
wouldn't
just
be
not gonna
enough.
happen. 8 would be enough, but 8 would be enough. 7 gets you there. 8 would be enough. But like I'm saying, just a full far and away, like you leave like who's won 10 Super Bowls before? You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something that's just really happening outside of like was the Green Bay days back in like a long time ago. So I don't know if he has that type of dynasty in him over the rest of the league. But like you said, I think as long as he's in Kansas City, I don't really see anybody in the AFC knocking him down. Right? Like we thought Lamar and them had a chance. They didn't get it done. The Bills. You like to give the Bills a chance. They didn't get it done.
Wait
It'll
till
be
my
really
guy Burrow
interesting.
gets back.
I mean, yeah, Cincinnati might have a shot. Um, Jim Harbaugh in LA. Can Justin Herbert
We'll
finally,
see.
put the debate to bed about who he is? We'll see. But we can't knock the guy right now. He's definitely going to be.
Somebody's gonna have to knock him off that pedestal.
Yeah,
I'm
until
certainly not.
somebody beats him, which I don't know if I see that. He's gonna, like you say, I think he's gonna submit himself at 2. I mean, if you want to talk about like arguing who's the most talented quarterback of all time, Hey, we can put him right there. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you want to do, we can put him there right now.
Certainly
Uh,
never seen anything like him.
right. You can put him there right now, but we'll see what's gonna happen, moving forward in this game. I think Patty knows what's in front of him. I think that chase for Tom Brady will keep him going. Of course, he'll try to win as much as he can. And we'll see. So with that now, we're gonna move to what are the keys to winning for both teams, right? So we got the 49ers first. What has to happen for the 49ers to win this game?
They've got to be able to run the football. We talked last week about the Ravens. We thought if they stuck to their game plan and they ran the football, that would be something that would be a game that we thought they would win. But the Chiefs defense, they've been pretty good against the run, but this was the same team that got gutted, for 3 quarters, by the Bills. I think obviously Christian McCaffrey is just a different animal. So I mean, if they can get off to a fast start and don't have to play from behind and play catch up with Mahomes, that gives them a much better chance. I think they're like 12-1 when McCaffrey gets 75 yards or more rushing. So, and he's had that last week against Detroit. So, if they can run the football, obviously that helps Brock Purdy and their play action game, keep him clean. That's probably their best bet. I
Yeah,
don't know
I
if they
like.
can. I don't know. Didn't mean to cut you off, but
Are you sure?
I don't know if they can. They can win a shootout against Mahomes if it becomes that. But
Yeah.
if they can run the ball, they've got a chance.
And that's what I was going to say. I guess my key kind of goes hand in hand with yours, but protecting the football, right? So that doesn't just mean not turning it over, but also can you control the clock, right? And that, to your point, would involve them running the football. If they can't protect the football, like Purdy can't have bad misses, right? The Chiefs defense likes to, blitz. They have a great defense over there. They got Chris Jones. They're playing lights out. I think they'll get Willie Gay back this game. L'Jarius Sneed. We saw the play that he made against the Ravens a couple weeks ago. Like they have a lot of guys that are game records on that side of the ball for the Chiefs, right? And if Brock Purdy gets,
Duffy,
yeah, I didn't even get in Trent McDuffie, all pro. Like, I mean, if he turns the ball over and gives the ball to Pat Mahomes, like I said earlier in like 3 episodes ago, if Pat Mahomes is in the playoffs, he's not turning the ball over, right? We saw Lamar Jackson turn the ball over. He threw an interception and they had the fumble. Like you're not beating him. You're not beating him if you do that. No matter how much talent the Niners have, at the end of the day, like Pat Mahomes, if you need a play, like you're gonna trust Pat Mahomes over a Brock Purdy to really make that play. And I think if the Niners, if they protect the football, good chance. As much as you can keep Pat Mahomes off the field, the better. I think their scheme is beautiful, right? It'll be a beautiful chess match between Spags and the Niners offense. But as far as the Niners, if the Niners can get points, we saw that against the Lions, right? When the Lions needed to get points and they didn't, how that impacted the game. In a playoff game in the Super Bowl is how many times can you go down and get something? And I think back to when the Chiefs played against the Buccaneers. They didn't protect Pat Mahomes well, and they made that game hard. They went down, they didn't get points sometimes. But what did the Bucs do? They went down, got field goal, touchdown, whatever you need just to get over. You know what I'm saying? So I think in a game like this, it's gonna be really, really close. If the Niners can manage the game, take care of the football, they give themselves a really, really, really good shot. Um, on the other side, though, what's the Chiefs' key? What do they have to do to win this game?
Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's just got to be special. They're 10-0 when they scored 21 or more points. Most of the games that they've struggled in a lot this year, offense was struggling, key drops. So I think if Mahomes, if he can have a special game, because like you said, he was special against the Ravens. Not many people gave him a chance. Even against the Bills. He's been playing great, completing 68% of his passes, over 100 QB rating in the postseason. So like as long as he's special, they've got a chance. I think their defense has been great all year. They're certainly going to keep them in it. So at the end of the day, I think if Patrick Mahomes comes to play, I think we both can agree the 49ers are the more talented team. But if Patrick Mahomes is special, he can take out on anybody. And we saw him be special against the 49ers a couple years ago. They were down 10 entering the fourth quarter. He made a bunch of plays and he stepped up when he needed to. It's pretty much more of a recipe for that team goes as Patrick Mahomes goes.
Yeah, and to your point, my key is they have to protect Patrick Mahomes. Not to bring up the Bucks game again, but we saw why they lost that game, right? They were out three linemen, I think, that game, and they failed to protect him. It doesn't matter how special he is if he's on his back all night. Pause. But like and this is really as simple as that. Like if you give him time, or even if you just give him like a little bit of time to extend the play, he can make anything happen, right? He can make all the throws. He has guys that can hopefully make the catches, right? MVS, can he make some plays? Kadarius Toney, is he gonna do something in this game? Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice, like Pacheco, can you give him time to get the ball to Travis Kelce? Can you give him time to get the ball to Rashee Rice? Like Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Fred Warner, those guys they got in the middle. I think we got like Hargrave and all those guys. Like the Niners have some guys. Like it's as simple as that. Like that defense is yeah, like that defense is very good. Like this is a very talented team. The Niners, they're 12-5. They very well could have been like 14-3, right? They very well could have been, 15-2, but they're not. So regardless of that, like you have to be able to protect him. They have to be able to run the football. They have to be able to really like lock in and execute. I don't think Pat Mahomes will turn the ball over, but we don't need to make the game harder for him than it already is going to be. And I think if they can manage to keep him protected, that's Donovan Smith, on that left side going against Bosa, right? I think the Niners are going to try to get matchups where they can for those edge rushers. And if those guys contain Pat Mahomes and Pat Mahomes is getting sacked or Pat Mahomes is rushing the throw, throwing the ball out of bounds, running for his life, that's when we see things get a little murky for the Chiefs, right? When Pat has to create everything, it's trouble. So hopefully, I think if the Chiefs can protect them, keep them clean, let them be magical, right? But if they don't, the Niners will impose their will. They'll sack them, make you punt, and you get a heavy dose of Christian McCaffrey for the whole night. Then you get a little play action, and then you lose the game. So that's my 2 cents on it. I think that's the main key for Kansas City. I think they know that. I think they did everything to correct that the last time they got to this point and didn't win one, right? So, I think that's got to be the biggest key. Next thing we're looking at now, we got X factors, man. We got X factors on both sides of the ball for both teams. So give me your offensive X factor for the Niners. Give me your defensive X factor for the Niners, and then we'll look at the other side of it for the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, I guess offensively, X factor. Let's go with damn.
Don't overthink it. You know who it is.
It is Christian. It's Christian McCaffrey. Like
you know who it is. Don't make it hard. Don't make it hard.
I like to be different sometimes, but I mean, we talked about. I said earlier they 12-1 this year. When he gets at least 70,
Bowl, man. This is
when he gets at least 75 yards rushing. Had a big game against the Lions in the NFC Championship. So I mean, they've got to ride him. I mean, pause. That's what they traded for him for, and I think he'll be ready for a challenge. That should be a good game. And defensively, obviously, I'm gonna go Bosa. I think he's going up against Jawan Taylor, who led the NFL in penalties this year. So I think that'll be an interesting matchup, and I think if he can take advantage of that matchup, he had 2 sacks against the Lions in NFC Championship. I think if he can create that kind of pressure on Mahomes, I think it makes a difference in the game.
Yeah, I'm right with you on McCaffrey. I think that he's a unit, right? You can let him run, throw it to him, pass protect. Shoot, you can put him at quarterback if you got to. He gets it done. I mean, he's going to be the best offensive player for the Niners in this game. I almost say in the whole game, but Pat Mahomes on the other side. You take Pat Mahomes away, like this guy's going to probably win Offensive Player of the Year in the NFC this season. he's your bell cow. We talked about how the Niners managed to win that game against the Lions. They stayed true to who they are. They didn't let a deficit get them away from giving the ball to the guy that has been having them go. I mean, what? At one point, he had a touchdown in every game for what? Almost 20 straight games or something, like something crazy. Like, I mean, he knows how to score the ball. Like he finds the end zone, he finds creases. He's a patient runner. I mean, like you said, like this is what you traded for him for. Like this game, like you traded for him to win this game. And I'll be surprised if the San Francisco 49ers decide to get away from that. And they do, they're gonna lose. So I mean, that's flat out. And then for me, defensively, I like the Nick Bosa pick. I'm not gonna go with Ohio State guy today. But instead, I'm thinking Fred Warner. I mean, I think that's the only, that's the next
It's a good
big
one.
guy. Like, he is that, that defense, the guy in the middle that makes everything go. He's probably one of the, I mean, someone say he's the best linebacker in the league. I wouldn't. I had a personal preference, but I do know I mean, regardless, he's the top linebacker in the league. He's made a lot of plays all season. He's been there, their heart and soul. And I mean, he has a big job, right? Between Travis Kelce, between keeping Pat Mahomes in check, and between stopping the run with Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, Fred Warner's gonna have to have himself a day, right? He's gonna be all over the field. That's what he does. He lives for these moments to make plays in these type of games. And so I think, you know, you have a big game from Fred Warner. I mean, I think regardless he'll have a big game. I can see him getting double-digit tackles. If he can make a play, maybe get a pick, cause a fumble or something. I think that'll change the game for the San Francisco 49ers and turn the tide into their favor. But what you got for the Kansas City Chiefs, man?
Offensively, I'll go Kelsey. I mean, most catches in the postseason. Uh, I think he wants this. I think he wants this Super Bowl more than anyone, so he can celebrate with Taylor Swift. Um, you brought up Fred Warner. That's going to be a good matchup. Um, they've been pretty good against tight ends this year, but Laporta had 9 catches, 97 yards, against them. So there's some weaknesses there, and Kelsey's obviously one of the best in the game, if not the best. So I got Kelsey. I think he'll eat up this game, and obviously Mahomes got to have someone to throw it to. So I think Kelsey's due for a big day.
Okay. What you got
He's
defensively?
showing off for his girl. Defensively, I mean, I'm gonna go Chris Jones. I mean, somebody on that line's got to get some push and you know try to stuff McCaffrey and get some pressure on Purdy. So I think he's gonna be key for them. Create some pressure and just wreak havoc and try to make that try to make 49ers kind of speed up what they want to do. Throw off the time in a Brock Purdy and try to create some turnovers. And that secondary, they play lights out. So, if the
Mhm.
pressure, they can get some pressure on him, guys like McDuffie and Snead can, make some plays.
Yeah, I like where you went. Obviously, I think Travis Kelce's a pretty safe pick. I'm gonna go with Pacheco though. I think that they're gonna have to run the ball, right? Pacheco's been playing pretty well. I mean, he's one of those guys that gets a lot of credit, but I still don't think he gets enough credit, right? I think it's pretty easy to kind of lose him in the shuffle because he's the running back for the Chiefs, and he's not overly flashy. People talk about how he runs and how he looks like, he look like he running in jeans and whatnot, like. I mean, but at the end of the day, the guy's a dog, right? His story itself is going to be, that's something that you're going to hear about all week. While we're doing Super Bowl prep, it's going to be something that you hear about on game day. And then I think at the end of the day, like if he plays well, like that team looks a lot better. Like when they have a run game, like when they can mix in a little Clyde Edwards-Helaire with that as well to spell him, like I think that changes their dynamic. And if he can really have a good day, not just in the run game, but also in the pass game. They've been getting him more involved as of late. If they can really get him going, and he can kind of like keep those guys on their toes. Like you're talking about Fred Warner. If Fred Warner's got to worry about Pacheco out the backfield and Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes potentially running those 10 plays, that's putting a lot of stress on. I mean, granted, they have other good guys over there, Drake Greenlaw and all those other linebackers. Like the Niners are stacked, but that's why you need them to be able to run the ball. You don't want Pat Mahomes to have to go win this game by himself. We don't
Yeah,
want.
they've been struggling to stop the run lately
Yeah,
too.
exactly,
Gave
exactly.
up 182 to the Lions.
Yeah, we saw how
Obviously, we know what.
Jameer Gibbs looked. Yeah,
Yep, and we saw what Aaron Jones did to
Aaron
him.
Jones.
So
Yeah. So
their run defense has been struggling this postseason. So yeah,
yeah,
Pacheco, he's been hooping 65, or more yards in last 4 games. So yeah, that's a good X factor.
hey man, hey, I'm trying. You see me, I'm trying. But defensively,
See,
I would go Chris Jones as well, but you did it. So, I'm gonna go coach. I'm gonna go Steve Spagnuolo, right? He's
okay,
the defensive mind behind that Chiefs defense. A guy that we know that likes to send the pressure, a guy that likes to mix it up, make it hard. And that's gonna be key in a game like this, where a team that is schemed as well offensively as the 49ers are, like you got to make Brock Purdy think. But you got to make him get off his reads, right? The first read ain't there. What are you gonna do? You know, I don't know. I mean, we saw Brock Purdy using his legs a lot last week. I mean, if I don't know, I don't know. As a defensive coordinator, I think I would be okay with him running a little bit more than him making passes down the field. But Spagnuolo is gonna have to switch it up and just keep him on his toes, keep that offense confused, right? If he can drop enough pressures, get them off schedule, that's when you see the 49ers get a little bit, they start to show a lot of weakness now, and they behind the sticks and they got to convert. So I think if Spags can do that, hey,
you know,
the Chiefs.
who was number one against the Blitz this year?
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy.
That's crazy. Was Jared Goff 2 or 3? Jared Goff
I
probably
couldn't
three.
tell you all that,
Okay, but that's
but I
hey,
know
and that's and
I
that's
know Brock. I know not Brock. I know Brock. I know Purdy was number one.
and that's to the point, right? Like Steve he's gotta switch things up. He's got to be able to adjust, give him different looks. Stay true to who you are, but take that into account. Like it's going to require mixing up coverages, disguising coverages, sending pressure in different ways because, like you said, he's number one against the blitz. So, and I'm sure that they know that over there in San Fran what's coming. So they gotta, you gotta be ready for whatever they can dial up. And I think that adjustment that's gonna happen, that first adjustment that both coaching staffs have to make is gonna play a really really key role in this game. I got another question for you now. So we're looking at from here what we looking forward to the most in this game. And now, we got the game. We got Usher at halftime. We got the Swifty Cam, Kelsey, Jason Kelsey gonna be in there too somewhere. Hopefully he got a shirt on this week, but knowing Jason Kelsey, he probably won't. But what are you looking most forward to, man? I know because the Super Bowl is a thing that everybody's gonna watch it, right? But everybody has a different region. Everybody wants. You got the people that want to see the halftime show. You got the people that just want to see Taylor Swift, right? So, what are you looking forward to most? Now that we down to the last week. I know you ain't been watching football much. You know, it's painful to watch, especially having to watch the Niners potentially get one, right? What are you
So I'll
looking
be
for?
rooting for Patty. So I'll be rooting for Patty for this one. I cannot see the 49ers raise up the Lombardi. Honestly, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the game. At this point, I'm not, commercials, were a thing to look forward to, growing up, but doesn't really do anything for me anymore. Halftime performance doesn't really do anything for me anymore. I'm kind of, I'm like the grandpa at my house. Like, I'm just looking forward to the game, and that's it.
They're
Like,
gonna pick the phone
hopefully,
up. A
hopefully
commercial.
it's still, yeah. No, I mean, Deadpool trailer dropped during the commercial, so I mean, I'm gonna be locked in for that. But you know, I just hope that it's a close game in the fourth quarter. That's all I'll be asking for. Just don't
Yeah,
put me to sleep.
yeah, that would suck. I am looking forward to the commercials. I think those are kind of funny.
I like to
Um,
see I like to see all the, the boxes, press
oh
boxes, and
yeah,
seeing what the mix of celebrities that you have in all of these, $1 million suites. So I mean,
yeah. They said
uh,
Christian McCaffrey couldn't afford the suite, man, for his family. I don't know why they
I
dropped
don't
that.
blame him. I don't
I
blame
would.
him. He
I think it was
probably
like
he
what
probably can, but
13.
just ain't want to
Well, I think I saw it was like
drop the
13
bag
mil
on
or
it.
something. I'm not dropping 13
Insane,
mil. Y'all better sit down
insane.
somewhere. You better sit down and get a roll, and y'all enjoy
Yeah,
it. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But I think I think there's a lot.
you're gonna be sitting among rich folks anyway,
Yeah,
because
it's
that's
gonna
how them
be.
tickets
That's all
price.
the
You be
Super
all
Bowl is.
right.
the Super Bowl is not for the normal casual or like the
Yeah.
diehard NFL fan. You're not getting in there. Like you just not. You might get lucky and get find some tickets, but regardless, you got to be paid to go in there. And I think the Super Bowl is gonna have a lot to look forward to. But to your point, like the Kelsey suite, the Chiefs suite, we're gonna have. What's gonna happen with Pat Mahomes Sr. coming off the DUI. You know what I'm saying? Get my boy Bond out this week. The camera's gonna pan that suite about 25,000 times in that game. You got the commercials to look forward to.
Should take a shot every time they show Taylor Swift.
Hey, yeah, there's a lot of drinking games you can get out of this too. We can make one. I'll
Somebody
be
gonna
here.
end up in a hospital.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But kind of to know, I don't really want the Niners to win either. So I kind of am looking
Yeah.
forward to not winning. Personally. But we can just go right into our predictions actually, now that we touched on that now. So I got two different things. Well, actually three. We're gonna throw a little monkey wrench in there. So of course I want you to tell me who wins, right? Give me who you have scoring the first touchdown. And I'm gonna force you to bring back Nelly's numbers, and
Damn.
I'm gonna ask you to give
Damn.
the people just one prop.
Wow. Well, now I gotta
One,
look up the props.
hey, you
I
got
gotta see
time.
what we gotta see what we dealing with
Or,
here.
or or you can just give them a player to watch for the props. You can be like, watch
Now,
so and so.
if we doing all these numbers, we doing it the right
We're gonna
way.
do it the right way. Okay, say less then. Now tell me you got all the time in the
But as
world.
far as a prediction, of course we going with the Chiefs because I will not be rooting for San Fran. I'm probably say Chiefs 27-24, and first touchdown will be scored by Travis Kelce. And he points to Taylor Swift in the crowd.
Technically I asked you for a prop, and that is a prop. That is a FanDuel prop. You could leave it there. Or you could
But
do it the right way.
I'm gonna try to get them another one.
All right, bet. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do mine while you find that for the folks, man. I mean, I just gave it away. I don't really want the Niners to win. Uh, if my Bucks can't win, nobody in NFC can win, right? Uh, I wanted the Ravens to win the Super Bowl once the Bucks got knocked out. That didn't happen, so I might as well rock with the team that beat them. I like Travis Kelce. I like Mahmoes. Rashee Rice has become one of my favorite players around the NFL. I have two new favorite players. One is Jahmyr Gibbs. The other one is Rashee Rice. Both rookies. Those are my two guys that I'm going to rock with for a couple years, hopefully. So I think the Chiefs it's crazy you said 27-24 because I was kind of thinking something similar. I think I saw that the Niners had both of their wins were by 3 points. Um, and I think that's probably going to be the same thing, except for the Chiefs will win this one. Um, I'm gonna go with a high scoring Super Bowl. Actually, no, I'm not, because I know how the Chiefs do when they get to this game. So I'm gonna go 23. Nope, 24-21 Chiefs. And my first touchdown score, I think I'm gonna go with Pacheco, right? I think I like the story. I think we're gonna get him across the end zone. He's gonna cheer. Um, while I do think there will be a Travis Kelce score, I also think there will probably be a Christian McCaffrey score as well. I think Pacheco gets across first. I think the Chiefs win the toss, say they want the ball and
Okay.
go out and score it, man. Pacheco across the end zone, first touchdown, they cue cue all the Pacheco clips, man. And we ride off there. So that's where I'm going. I don't have a prop because I don't do that. But
I got I got
I know
two
you
money
got
props right here. Just easy
Nelly's
money.
Nelly's numbers
I
is I
we're
need
gonna
like a
take Travis Kelce over 71.5 receiving yards, easy money. And we're gonna
easy.
take Patrick Mahomes over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Mm.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Hey, y'all heard it here. Nelly's numbers. It wouldn't be right if Nelly's numbers didn't come back for the Super Bowl. Like I feel like most people in the world that bet or don't bet, this is the time for you to go
Yeah,
ahead and
yeah, I'm
drop.
feeling good about that. Let me go ahead. I'm about to go ahead and put 20,000 on that right now.
Oh,
That's how good I'm feeling. That's how good I'm
you
feeling about that.
do two for
Go
two
ahead,
interface with
go
Nell hit.
ahead, and put 20K on that. Easy, easy.
You heard the man. So that's it right there. We told y'all everything that you need. If you watching this game, after watching this pod, listening to this pod, however you consume the pod, and you go to the Niners and they lose, don't say we didn't tell you so. Right. So it's all out there for you.
It's not a prediction, it's a
It's not.
spoiler.
It's yes, we do have the script. If nothing else, we have the script. So that's gonna wrap it up, man. I think the Super Bowl, like I said, is coming up Sunday. Everybody, Sunday nights. Make sure you have a party. Nell, you having a Super Bowl party?
If you want to call it that, I
All right.
guess.
Hey man, I might have to,
I
might
don't
have to
know.
slide up there to Philly, man. All my Super Bowl
I said
parties.
we couldn't have a party unless the Cowboys was in it, and they just went ahead and still playing the party.
You know,
So like, I'll be there,
I
but like, I
I'm
ain't gonna
kind
be
of
partying.
we messed up too, because now being out here in Baltimore, man, nobody want to have a Super Bowl party no more. The Ravens lost, and I haven't even heard nobody talk about football out here. So I don't know where I'm going, if anywhere. My
My
boss is
opinion, the Super Bowl party should just be reserved for the teams that in the Super Bowl.
yeah, and I agree. If you're not, you just having a little shindig, like
I'm just tuning in,
you're
watching the
not really
game,
invested in the game. I remember,
regular Sunday,
yeah,
nothing
I remember
special.
when the Rams were in the Super Bowl, against the Bengals. I was like, I just have no desire to really watch the Rams. They beat my Bucks that year,
I
right?
forget that was the Super Bowl so
It,
many times.
hey,
Like,
so I haven't really tuned into a Super
that was a
Bowl
pretty
in
good game too,
it was.
which is
Odell was having a
crazy.
great day. But so if y'all are having a Super Bowl party, man, think about Quis and Nell while y'all are there, and hope next year that one of our teams can be there so that we can host a 2-for-2 Super Bowl party. Um, but aside from that, man, of course, like we said, the Super Bowl's coming up this Sunday. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. So we hope that y'all are surrounded by people that you care about and love, and that you have a lot of fun, eat a lot of good food, enjoy the commercials, whatever it is, whatever the reason that you're watching the Super Bowl. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it is worthwhile for all of us, right? And hopefully, me and Nell's predictions are correct.
Will be correct.
Yes, they will be. With that, as always, continue to support, continue to like and subscribe on YouTube. Let's build a YouTube channel up as much as we can. I know we originally started off doing this just through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, all that stuff. But here we are. You can see our faces. So, we're trying to run that up as much as possible. Run up the TikTok likes, Instagram posts, Twitter, all of that, man. Continue to show love at 2for2 Pod. But that's going to wrap it up for us, man. That's season 3, episode 27, the Super Bowl preview. We're going to be putting the NFL to bed very, very soon. Now,
God,
it'll be all NBA all the time, man. So
I
thank
don't
y'all
know if
for
that's
watching.
any better.
Not the way our teams are trending. It's looking a little bleak, man. Injuries are killing us. But that's going to do it. That's going to wrap it up for 2for2, man. As always, we love y'all. We out.